please stand right across here so we can swear you in? Even different. You guys, yeah, you can spread out a little bit. Yeah. All right. Everybody, I need you to raise your right hand. Please state your name. Each of you state your names for me. Okay, please repeat these words after me. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Wisconsin, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of alderperson for the city of Racine to the best of my ability, according to law. You all may take your seats as represented aldermen of your districts. Thank you.
Called order. Janice, roll call, please.
Alderman DeHaan. Here. Fair. Hart. Helding. Present. Kaplan. Present. Caprillion Becker. Present. McCarthy. Present. Morganroth. Here. Mozel. Sarazen. Shakur. Here. Shields. Here. Widener. Weiser. Here. And Wisniewski.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Well, first thing up tonight is the election of the council president, Alderman Wisniewski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to nominate the alderman of the 4th District, Jim Kaplan.
We have a motion and a second on the nomination.
If I may speak to my nomination, Your Honor.
Alderman Wisniewski.
Alderman Kaplan and I were part of the same freshman class back in '06, and we have served together for those many years, and it is my honor to nominate Mr. Kaplan for president of the council, in part because he has shown patience, he has shown wisdom, and leadership in his years on the council, and so I feel strongly that he can serve as an excellent president of the council for the coming year. Thank you.
Alderman Helding.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move that nominations be closed and a unanimous ballot be cast for the alderman of the 4th District, Jim Kaplan, for president for the ensuing term.
We have a motion and a second to close the balloting without objection. Well, let's just do it in a unanimous consent. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We now have a closed ballot and nomination for the president, unanimous nomination for the president of the city council. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, the Honorable Alderman James Kaplan, looks like you got yourself a job.
I could just take,
You got 3 minutes.
okay. I will not take anyone down memory lane for the next year. No more history. And I have 2 quotes that I would like to say are going to guide me throughout the next year. One is by King Solomon, the wisest and richest king that ever existed on the earth, whose father was a great warrior, King David. And in Proverbs 16:7, he said, "When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him." I will strive at that. And the son of the owner of a pencil factory out in Concord, Massachusetts, well known as Henry David Thoreau, wrote a short passage on March 15th of, I think it was 1837. He said, "I am sorry to think that you do not get a man's most effective criticism until you provoke him. Severe truth is expressed with some bitterness." And this upcoming year, I would pray that we would all do the best to hold back our emotions and to express our intellect for the citizens of Racine, for the stakeholders and taxpayers of Racine. And let's move ahead, and let's do it with efficiency and great joy. Thank you.
Well, you're doing that with a lot of humility and a lot of spirit, and obviously President Helding didn't tell you what it's like to work with me. So I hope you have that same humility when we work through the next year. We're gonna have a good year together in 2012, and I want to take a moment to thank President Helding, who his leadership, his grace under fire, and his expertise and intelligence over the last year have really taken the city to a new level. Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, he doesn't get any time. Oh boy. I think Mr. Former President Helding, does he get the limo and the bodyguards with this or no? Okay, you got a speech.
We're going to be constructing my library this coming year. I don't really need that much time. I kind of went over this last night, but it was an honor to serve. As I said, it was at times not quite as bucolic as Alderman Kaplan hopes to make his presidency, but I think we got through it in one piece and did okay, and I look forward to not being president this year and helping Jim in any way, pardon me, Alderman Kaplan, President Kaplan, in any way he needs it. Thank you.
Hey, standing committee appointments, Janice?
Okay, Finance and Personnel Committee, QA Shakur II, Terry McCarthy, Ron Hart, Dennis Weiser, O'Keefe Fair. The first 2 that I'm naming, it would be the chairman and then the vice chair. Public Works, Sandy Whitener, Ray DeHaan, Michael Shields, Jim Kaplan, Jim Morganroth. Public Safety and Licensing Committee, Greg Helding, Aaron Wisniewski, Robert Mozo, Melissa Caprillion-Becker, and Christina Sarazin. The Alderman at Large this year, Terry McCarthy. Those are your standing committee appointments.
All right, next on the hit parade is the State of the City. Good evening. Come on, we can do better than that. Good evening. There we go. City Council members, Racine department heads, guests, special guests, and our citizens of Racine. Roughly 3 years ago, when we started together, I made a statement, and it simply said, in our efforts, we must create sustainability and success through a series of wins, big or little. We must get back on a winning track. Well, tonight I want to give you a progress report on where we are as a city. This is really a snapshot in time and our accomplishments that we've achieved together as a city. Highlighted on the screen, you'll see portions of the 10-year plan that we've completed or are in progress. While this illustrates what we have done so far, we also have a great deal yet to accomplish. As you recall, there were 6 areas that we focused on in the 10-year plan: development, housing, administrative, business, crime, and the environment. In development, David Burnham, when he was looking at the design of Chicago and the tri-state region in the 19th century, said, and I quote, "Make no little plan. They have no power to stir men's blood." With that same determination, I'm proud to announce that in partnership with our local businesses, the RCEDC, we are preparing the first ever citywide comprehensive plan. I have always believed that there was a need for a comprehensive plan in the city of Racine, a plan by which the city, private developers, residents, and investors can follow. If we are to attract businesses to Racine in this highly competitive market, we have to clearly show them our vision for the future of our city. A comprehensive plan will also allow us to plan more efficiently, layer grants and funding more successfully, and save our residents time and money. When I took office, we had some failing development sites that we call TIFs. They were struggling financially. As promised, we have refinanced or restructured those TIFs to pay them off faster, saving taxpayers money. We have also worked with developers to make sure that their projects meet the proper market conditions so that we prevent this problem from happening in the future. One of our latest accomplishments includes a historic building in downtown Racine. We recently announced the Porter's redevelopment project. This development, totaling over $5 million, will be a catalyst for additional development on 6th Street. And I want to thank Micah Waters and his family for their commitment to downtown Racine. Mike, are you here? Stand up and wave. Thank you, Micah. On the other side of town, we worked with the Regency West project to build a $9 million development. And even though we didn't always agree, we stood strong on our commitment to quality in their development and came away with a project that not only is a showcase of the area, but is already full. The city has benefited because we made sure a quality project was completed, and the developer is making money with a waiting list of clients. This is a win-win situation that we can all be proud of. We have made significant efforts to expand opportunities in the area of water-based companies. One of our greatest assets is access to this beautiful lake. And while some think we should just give it away, I do not. Over the last couple of years, one thing that has been made clear in talking with mayors from around the country or around the world is that water is one of, if not the greatest resource on the planet, and we must protect it. While we're working to bring new job opportunities focused around water, we cannot forget those who need employment now. That's why we're partnering with companies like Butter Buds and Summit Packaging to expand their companies, creating new jobs. In order to continue to partner with local businesses, we have had to find financial capacity. I'm proud to announce that in our recent efforts, it has resulted in a grant from the federal government to expand our revolving loan fund. The city made an investment in jobs and recently approved $500,000 for the revolving loan fund. The federal government matched our efforts with an additional $1,066,000. This gives us the opportunity to continue the partnerships like we did with Butter Buds and Summit and others to grow Racine jobs. I want to thank the Finance Committee and Alderman Shakur. It was a tough vote, It was a tough subject, but they were rewarded with over $1 million. Congratulations to the Finance Committee. My last point in the area of development is state leaders continue to cut back on local transit funding. This makes it especially tough for us to compete for jobs in this global environment. Locally, the people affected most are our elderly and mobility challenged citizens. These cuts make it nearly impossible for them to enjoy productive lives and participate in daily activities. I'm proud to stand with the other mayors of this state who have collaborated on a study and a proposal to create the most efficient and effective transportation system in Wisconsin. What state leaders have failed to do for our citizens, the mayors will demand for the long-term best interest of our residents. The next topic I want to touch on is housing. Our efforts in rehabbing properties in Racine through the Neighborhood Stabilization Program have been the envy of neighboring communities. As we continue to put foreclosed properties back in the hands of our homeowners, we keep our local contractors working. Even though the leaders in Madison took away the very money that the federal government sent cities to stem the tide of foreclosures, we will strive ahead, and we will with shining examples like the First Choice Pre-Apprenticeship Program, headed by Ola Bayou. His program takes our residents off the streets, trains them in trades, and helps them to find gainful employment. Ola and his team are a perfect example of a successful partnership, and I want to thank Ola for all of his work. We're proud to announce that the city has just been awarded more than $2.4 million as part of a joint effort to eradicate lead paint in the cities of Kenosha and Racine. Working in collaboration with Kenosha, we will expand our efforts to eliminate the lead from old houses that poison our children. Our newest initiative, the Pastoral Alliance, is focusing on fixing up homes around our churches in the Riverview area. These are just a couple of the examples of how we are taking back our neighborhoods. I'm also proud of the work that we've done with David Coles. He's been building Racine's first nearly neutral, energy-efficient home on DeKoven Avenue. David's model home utilizes revolutionary residential engineering with extra-thick insulating walls, gray water reuse, and geothermal heat, to name a few. These are the homes of the future. And we look to do more with David, because not only is he building homes to reduce our reliance on energy, he is training our young men and women for future employment. David, please thanks and stand to be thanked. Appreciate it. Finally, in housing, I was proud of all the work our people are doing with the NSP funds, but this was highlighted when the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Sean Donovan, was in Milwaukee. And while visiting Milwaukee, he commented on Racine's efforts as a model for communities to emulate. In the area of administration, our practices of long-range planning and evaluation have worked. As we continue to find ways to provide better services to you, the customers, we look at ways, large or small, to provide you with better service at a lower cost. I want to point out one small example of our staff's efforts. Last week, our staff in the Department of Public Works found a way to make our salt, our road salt, go farther, and at the same time have less of an impact on our environment, thus saving the city over $100,000. To some, that might not seem like a lot, but at a time where the state is cutting millions of dollars from our budget every year, every little bit helps. I want to thank Mark Yalen, John Rooney, and Tom Eag. Please stand, and thank you for all of your hard work. There is one trend that I've seen over the last year that is troubling, and that's the state's efforts to strip the powers of cities away. In this last year, leaders in Madison proposed making you, the taxpayers, pay for delinquent water bills. Stripped the cities of their foreclosure prevention funds, stripped out our bus funds, limited the city's ability to zone city properties, and numerous other local control issues that Madison believes are better if they're decided in Madison than by local officials. The leaders in Madison need to understand that it is time to stop working for their own political parties and time to start working for the people of this state. We must get away from the notion that you can cut your way to a great society, and instead we must work together to provide a strong infrastructure and a strong city that's attractive to businesses. The amount of funding reductions we received last year by the state and federal leaders were painful but not new. Moving forward, we must find the balance between the quality of life for our citizens with the services and taxes. I don't know about you, but after reviewing how the state has been running over the last couple of years, I think it'd be a good idea to leave the running of cities to mayors in the city council because we're better at it. I will be the first to admit that there are a couple of areas that we need more attention, specifically the Hispanic and senior centers. I'm pledging my support to finalize both of these critical projects which I believe are vital to a successful city. In business, I've had the pleasure of touring over 40 companies throughout our city. It's given me a real appreciation for our business owners, large and small, their commitment to Racine, and our hardworking residents. They continue to impress me each and every day. I'm glad to say that our efforts and partnerships have helped lower the unemployment rate in Racine. But to me, it's not enough. There are still people struggling to find employment. And as long as I am mayor, I will work every single day to try to meet that need. To assist in expanding our company's efforts to sell more products, I've been working with the U.S. Department of Commerce to establish trade missions to bring countries and our businesses together to form long-lasting partnerships for sustained growth. We have also established and initiated an initiation called the E3 program to incentivize any businesses looking to move into or expand in Racine to receive funds to implement energy efficiency projects, to reduce their long-term costs of energy while reducing our reliance on it. Furthermore, after recognizing the lack of growth in new minority businesses, we developed Launchbox, a new program designed to provide new businesses with the pieces they need to move into the next level of growth. Sometimes your best solutions for jobs are right here in your own backyard. It just takes a little care and some fertilizer to get them growing. One of those individuals that has started with a little help and is growing leaps and bounds is Caleb Robinson. Here's a young man who grew his idea of a hot dog cart into his own restaurant and is now an active partner with the City of Racine as he opens his newest project in downtown at the boat ramp. Congratulations, Caleb. While we look local, we also look global. That's why I take the time and effort to bring our story to the rest of the world. Recently, I spoke in Paris, France about the need for a regional cooperative development agreement focused on creating jobs around water resources. That proposal was then brought to Chicago at the G40 Mayors Summit on Sustainability. Mayors from all over the world heard about our efforts to grow new job opportunities around water. They agreed. This is the type of effort needed for future growth and opportunities. I was able to not only present the proposal itself, but to speak about our efforts in Racine. And I want you to know that of all the items discussed that day, Racine, little old Racine, our efforts were highlighted as a best practice for the world and for the world communities to follow. Mayors from around the world wanted to know how we cleaned up our beaches, provided not only the best tasting water in the country, but how we were able to provide a handicap accessibility to our great beach and our residents. Ladies and gentlemen, I hear often, far too often, from detractors who tell us how bad our city is. Well, I'm here to tell you that while the world is looking to Racine, we're looking right back at them with our heads held high. Our congratulations go out to Julie Kinzelman, our health department, and our folks at Water and Wastewater. Keith, congratulations and thank you. While there are some areas where we want to be ranked in the top 10, crime is not one of them. We'd actually like to be out of the top 10. Our efforts have led to a 40-year low in crime. However, it's still not good enough. We have a lot of work to do to expand, and we've done so by expanding our cop houses, which have had dramatic impact on the Uptown and Jacado Drive areas. The efforts have led to a decrease in crime that have allowed us to gain control over 2 uncontrolled areas. I look forward to working with our new police chief, Art Howell, as we prepare a crime package that'll be introduced later this year. We have made some great gains lately, and I want to personally thank Chief Kurt Wallen for his efforts to get us where we are. Thanks, Chief. I'm happy to announce that our efforts will include a partnership with the Racine Unified School District, Racine County, and our neighbors to take our streets back and let criminals know firsthand that Racine is not the place to do their type of business. This is one business that we will fight hard to remove from our borders. Special thanks goes out to Dr. Ann Lang from Racine Unified and County Executive Jim Ladwig for their partnership and efforts. One shining example of the work done in our neighborhoods is the Neighborhood Watch program. I want to thank Mary McIlvain and Charlie French for their commitment to making Racine a great place to live, work, and play. Recently, Neighborhood Watch received a national award for their work, again, right here in little old Racine, Wisconsin. As Racine keeps making positive headlines, we continue to fight short-sighted decision-making by some elected officials. Neighborhood Watch, Community Reentry, First Choice Pre-Apprenticeship, and many others like it are funded in part through federal community development block grant funds. These funds are often our last line of defense for our residents. However, Congress continues to cut the very funds that we use to make Racine a great place to live. Recently, our congressional leaders turned down a Department of Justice grant that was the collaboration of 5 law enforcement groups designed to fight gangs and drugs in our city. They called it PORC, or an earmark. When you have 5 separate law enforcement groups coming together in a collaborative to fight gangs and drugs, it's not PORC, it's a partnership. Something that deserves the support of every elected official. If our federal representatives are not willing to bring your tax dollars directly back to help our communities, then how are local officials supposed to create the atmosphere for jobs that they talk about so often? Our congressional leaders need to remember that they work for people, not political parties. As Congress continues to cut the funds that we rely on to rebuild our neighborhoods, we look to form even more partnerships with our local churches, nonprofit groups, and the private sector to continue our efforts in a more cost-effective and efficient manner. We need to do more with less, because we cannot simply pass the buck and forget about the very citizens that we serve. This fall, we'll be introducing a new collaborative designed to help those children not making the grade to enroll in our After Zones program, an after-school program that provides kids a safe environment to catch up on their classes while having a little fun in the process. The After Zones program is another example of how we look to combine the resources of the city, Racine Unified, and our local nonprofits and our churches to provide an opportunity for our children. I don't know if they're here, but I want to thank Debbie Embry and Kathy Dunkerson for their incredible work on this project. One of the most successful partnerships in 2011 and 2012 has been Racine Reads. If a child learns how to read at a grade level by the time that they are in 3rd grade, the likelihood of them failing decreases significantly. A little effort on the front end can create a tremendous result for their and our future. I want to thank S.C. Johnson Wax, Racine Unified School District, for stepping up and playing such an incredible role in our children's future. They are the true heroes in this game. I've had the pleasure of reading to more than 60 classes so far, and my daughter Eleanor and I and our family have done our share by reading over 150, actually 151 books as of last night together. That's how we do things here in Racine. We do them as a team. Finally, in the area of environment, I want to extend a special thanks to our Park Pride Committee and their efforts over the last year. I've always believed in the power of our residents. The Park Pride Committee was one of those groups that came together to take a long-range look at where we're going with our parks. Their foresight and ideas have already been put in place to make this a better city with fewer dollars. Whether it's the new tennis courts or the Adopt a Park project, I'm convinced we're moving in the right direction. I want to thank people like Chris Flynn and the Urban Garden Network and all their members. We're expanding the urban gardens in our city from 2 to roughly 10 this year. Who would have ever imagined that this tiny seed of an idea would bloom into such a wonderful bounty for our community? I want to thank Chris and everybody. I don't know if Chris is here. No, maybe not. Chris and everybody for their hard work at the Urban Garden Network. As you already know, we won the award for best tasting water in the country, an award that I have been sharing with every mayor and individual I meet. Racine is also the host of the first ever U.S. Conference of Mayors Water Summit at Wingspread. This last December, we were able to discuss solutions to our water problems while being able to show off our incredible city. We were also honored with the Tree City Award. Believe it or not, trees not only beautify our city, but they actually help us save energy and money. Furthermore, we worked out an agreement with UW Parkside to keep the Root River Rec Center open, serving our residents in the Riverview area. I want to thank State Representative Corey Mason, UW Parkside, and the members of the Root River Council for their efforts in preserving this incredible treasure. Are any of those folks here today? If you are, stand up. There is one last project that I believe identifies our commitment to our most precious resource, our children. We have partnered with the Johnson Foundation in Racine County to implement the Infant Mortality Grant in Racine. The grant allows us to look at ways to prevent infant mortality in our community, which unfortunately is one of the hardest hit in the nation. Thanks to Carol Johnson, Corey Mason, Racine County, and our health department, because we're moving ahead to care for Racine's most valuable and vulnerable resources. As you can see from my speech, there are many, many good things going on in the city of Racine. That's because we're blessed with good partners, residents who care deeply about their community, and volunteers who are dedicated to making this a great city. We do what we do, not because we're paid to, but because in essence we're all one big family. We're all in this together. And together we will make this the greatest city in the country to live in. So, let's get back to work. God bless. Good night. My mom will tell me later on if I mess that up. How we do? Do we all right? Okay. She's being nice. Do we have anything else? Alderpersons, would you, let's start in the first. What we do, I forget if we do just the electeds or do you want to do everybody? Just the electeds? All right, let's go even districts, starting with number 2. You're up.
Foremost. Oh.
You're on. She's on.
Yes. For electing me to this very special position, very important position. I think the constituents of the 2nd District, I work hard for you and for all of the citizens of Racine. I'd like to thank Mr. Marcus for his last 2 years of service to the 2nd District and to the city of Racine. I'd like to thank my friends and family who have always been there for me. I'd like to thank the committee who came together when I decided to run and worked hard to make this happen. Keith Hemig, Jackie Mose, Christy Minucier, Holly Hess, Doug Nichols, and most importantly, my husband and campaign manager, Alex Sarazin, who is here with my son, Henrik, and Christy is here as well. Thank you very much for your support. I look forward to working with the rest of the council. I look forward to working with the mayor and the rest of the city staff. I want to focus on holding us all accountable to ensure what is best for the city. Thank you.
You're going to have to get used to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, I would like to thank my Heavenly Father and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I had a little bit of a scare in the beginning that the numbers got reversed, but I just had faith, and I thought whatever is going to transpire is going to transpire, and here I am again. Sorry you stuck with me for 2 more years. I would like to introduce my wife, Julie. We'll be married for 28 years. I don't know of any other patient woman who would put up with me for that long, other than the lady sitting next to her, who is my mother, Wilma, who you're not supposed to announce women's ages, but she will be 90 on July 28th, and I thank God for that. Next to her is my godson and my nephew, my brother's son, Justin Kaplan. On the other side of my wife is my nephew, J.R. Steverl, his mom, Barb, and Julie's brother, Rick, my brother-in-law, who a lot of guys aren't that excited about their brother-in-laws, but I've been pretty well blessed. Behind him is my cousin, Lynette. Next to her is Aunt Pat, and my neighbor, John, and his wife, Kathy. A brother in Christ, Bill, next to him, and next to him is Steve Essium, my prayer partner and accountability partner, and our neighbors, Caesar and Marion Campos, are behind. My cousin Carolyn and her husband Tony, Carolyn sold us our house, so that's the reason I'm an alderman in the first place, so we could move into the city. And I just am very, very thankful, and I'm very proud to serve the citizens of the 4th District who voted me back into office. We're getting somewhere. The 4th is the festive 4th, and it's a great place to live.
You missed all the rest of them. You win all.
And my fellow cue ball, Mike.
I thought they were all here to hear my speech. Right? Jeez. Next time, Mr. President, you got to rent that much space. Alderman Widener.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I want to thank the residents of the 6th District for returning me to the City Council for what will be my 7th term. It's hard to believe that it's been this many years that I've been sitting in this seat, but it's been a real honor and privilege, and it's something that I will never, ever take for granted. I appreciate this opportunity as much today as I did back in 2000 when I was first elected. I'd like to introduce my children. I have one in Las Vegas, one in Mexico, and one at a Brewers game.
Can we get them on Skype?
So instead, what I think I'll do is I'll just reintroduce Jim Kaplan's family. Because that was so much fun, I would just love to do that again.
You can rent them.
Rent them.
Like $1.50.
Rent a relative.
All right, thank you. Honorable Alderman Shakur.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be done in 3 minutes. But thanks to the voters and the citizens of the 8th District for electing me to represent them in the city and county government again, so we can continue to enhance and improve the quality of life. Thanks to the collaborative effort of at least 40 or so individuals, groups, organizations over the years that have made a difference in our area as it is today. We have come a long way, and we have a long way to go. Thanks to retired Police Chief Richard Polzin and other chiefs. Thanks to the Community Outpost, Neighborhood Watch. Thanks to the Community Policing Initiative, West 6th Street Association, State Street Civic Association. Thanks to Sustainable Racine, Boy Scouts of America, Concerned Landlords, Landowners. Thanks to Racine Unified School District, Next Generation Now, 21st Century Preparatory School, and businesses. Thanks to the city, county, and government elected officials, and a special thanks to Judge Barry. May God bless him and his family. He was a good president in our area. Excuse me.
You're just like me. And you're right. Deep breath.
Thanks to the faith-based past and current pastors, Wayman AME Church, Pastor Lee, Pastor Mills, Pastor Garrison, Greater Grace, Pastor Scott, Pastor Cornett, All Nations Prayer House, Pastor Ladke, Carlson, Holy Communion Lutheran Church, Pastors Herman, Barrows, and Grimmel. Special thanks to Joel Osteen, Joyce Myers, SPHS, and Bishop Bronner for helping me keep the balance in faith, self, family, and community. Your Honor, the Mayor, the new President of the Common Council, Kaplan, honorable members of the Common Council, citizens of wonderful Racine, I present to you a great man that's called Big Pawpaw by his grandkids, who just celebrated his 81st birthday on April 3rd. This was the last election day. On behalf of my 4 siblings and myself, our father, Q.A. Shakur Sr. I thank him for his 58 years of support, and the clock is continuing to tick. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
As soon as we start talking about our dads, it's all a mess. Honorable Alderman Weiser.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank the residents of the 10th District for allowing me to work in their behalf for another 2 years. It's been enjoyable and informative. I'd like to thank my parents. They're not able to be here tonight, but they are at the atrium, so they can watch me on closed circuit TV every now and then. I would not be here if it wasn't for the way they brought me up. I'd like to thank my dear friend Mary Totero for being my #1 supporter through the many different careers I've had. And I would especially like to thank the council, the mayor, and the staff here. Your commitment to this community is always an inspiration, and I always leave these meetings feeling better than when I come in. Thank you.
Honorable Alderman Wisniewski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've been told by my fellow aldermen that I can run on a little long, so I'm going to make this very short tonight. I first of all wanted to thank everyone in the 12th District for voting for me this year. I would like to introduce my wife and children, but they're not here tonight. Tonight is a Taekwondo night, and my son Henry is one belt away from his black belt, and will be going up in about 2 more months, so he can't miss any Taekwondo nights. So I said, that's more important, go there tonight. I look forward to helping people in the future, and I would like to put in a plug for Frat Elementary. Frat Elementary in West Racine is going to be installing a new playground for the kids of West Racine on May 5th, and I would like to ask anyone who would like to volunteer and help out on that day to show up and help us put in a new playground. Thank you very much.
Honorable Alderman Hart.
Thank you, Mayor. As I start my 11th term as alderman, I want to thank all the constituents of the 14th District for supporting me all these years. I'd also like to congratulate the aldermen that were reelected and the new aldermen. Welcome aboard. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. Unfortunately, Grandma Hart won 4 tickets to the Brewer game today, and she had a coin flip with her grandkids, and by telephone I lost, so they're not here tonight. They're at the Brewer game with Sandy's children, so I had to go along and do without them. But I want to thank everybody for their support over the years, and looking forward to another term as alderman of the 14th District. Thank you.
I want to take a second to introduce my mom, who's sitting over here on the left. Hey, Mom, thank you for everything. I don't care about where I'd have been without her. I don't know where I'd be without her right now. She's always helping out at every aspect, every corner, and every turn whenever we need help, so I don't know where I'd be without her even today. I kind of go with you, Alderman Wisniewski. My kids are at baseball tonight, and just, you know, had to be baseball. So they're not at the Brewer level yet, but they spend enough time in city council chambers and at city council events, so I'll give them a pass tonight. But we want to thank all of you, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you for attending tonight, thank you for watching tonight, and thank you for your patience, but we appreciate your openness in coming and talking to us, sharing your thoughts. Even if you don't agree with us, it's important that you step up to the mic and you step up to the plate. So we want to thank all of you out there who watched tonight for giving us this opportunity. We have a lot of work to do, and as I said, we're going to do it together. And we will get through this 2012, and at the end of the year, I think we're going to have a shining example again of why this city is so great. JJ, I want to thank you for all your great work, and Rob, they sit up here and protect me. I don't know how they do it, but they do. Tom, we got the picture of you back here. But City Administrator Tom Friedel, I'm sorry, just I can't get away. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Gilbert Knapp. I apologize. He's here. He's got to put up with it. But I also want to thank my staff, Greg, who did an absolutely tremendous job over the last couple of days putting this presentation together and putting up with me for the last 3 years. I want to thank you. You did an excellent job tonight. But we hope you all have a wonderful night. I think Alderman Kaplan's got a private little announcement after. But we hope you stay around. Take some pictures if you'd like. I'm sure some of you will probably want to do that. Just don't grab anything, okay? It's all got to stay here. So, Mom, especially, I'm Rosenberg, I'm watching you. So I got you here. But please stay around a little bit and spend some time if you'd like to take some pictures. God bless you, everybody. Have a great night. Alderman Shakur. Motion is second. We are adjourned.